Listen to any good podcasts lately?
Huh?
Listen to any good podcasts lately?
Oh, no.
You know what a podcast is?
No.
You have an iPhone?
No.
You have an Android?
Yeah.
Stitcher Radio. Podcast is just on-demand radio. It's online radio. And you have an app you can get on Android. It's free at Stitcher Radio. You can listen to shows from all over the world. Whatever hobby you have, whatever. I listen to on my phone all day.
Oh, that's
Check it out, man. Stitcher Radio. Yeah, podcast. Anything you're interested in, they have them weekly.
Have
Yep.
a good night.
All right, later.
So that was Fireproof stuff?
And now, straight from the Law-Abiding Biker Media Studio,
out of sunny Yakima, Washington,
we bring you another episode of the
#1 listen to motorcycle podcast.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
Hey, Bikeaholics and listeners alike, the show is still going strong because of a lot of hard work and your support, of course. Thanks to all those loyal listeners and true friends of the show that have supported us or are supporting us. For less than a coffee a month, you can help support us too and put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank to make sure this show keeps moving on down the road. So, calling all law-abiding bikers, head over to our Patreon page and take action today. You can do so at lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Oh, did I mention there's benefits too? From all your friends at lawabidingbiker.com, we appreciate each and every one of you. God bless and ride safe. Oh yeah, Oscar.
Yo,
Feel it, buddy.
I'm feeling
You have
the love.
no idea what you're doing with your phone over there.
Hey, what? Look. I think I came up on the thing.
Hey, sweet. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. You got it. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the big MM. Oscar, also known as the
High-tech redneck. Oh, no. Motorcycling majority.
Oscar is trying to
I can't
do some techie stuff.
And I'm all distracted.
What are you waiting for, freaking bikeaholics? Mount up. Let us take you on a wild-ass ride, huh? All right, guys, welcome back. I am Ryan Erlacher, your host of the Law Abiding Biker podcast. Now you can do it, Oscar, and you're...
High-tech redneck.
There you go. Oscar was just jumping the gun there. So Oscar is in the house, and he's trying to get on this new chat, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. We've got live chat going, and we are streaming live right now for the first time. All right. Now, Oscar, did you say something in the chat room?
Wait, I am right now.
Oh, you did. I think I figured this out. You did. That's you, bro.
That's because my name's there.
So there you go. So I got to make you a administrator, but we're not going to do that right now. So everybody, Justin there, you see him in the chat room. All you live people, that's Oscar.
Oh,
yep.
I spelled one of the people.
242. Make them listen to the whole thing. Yeah. All right. So Oscar's in there too, guys, and we will after tonight's episode make him admin, so you can kind of tell. I'll make everybody over here at the in the studio when they're in here admin, so you can kind of tell and get to know the other guys that are hosts with me. Oscar, I'm very, very excited, and you probably don't know why.
Nope.
Oh, I love trash.
Finally, a song for Oscar.
Dirty or dingy or dusty. Anything ragged or rotten or rusty.
It's your
Yes,
opening song.
That is what I'm talking about.
You like?
I love it. I
Dude,
love it.
I had to finally get that. Big thanks to listener Rick Kane, who's a big supporter of the show. He actually finally sent me a YouTube video with that song, and I ripped the audio out of it and cleaned it up and made it just for you, buddy.
And it has meanings on so many levels.
It does. It really does.
It does.
So let's talk real quick. We talked about it with our live audience beforehand, but we'll just really brief here. So we want to bring content to you guys in as many forms that we can and at different times. And, we got the YouTube channel, we've got the podcast, which is our most popular. And now we are streaming live. And just remember this URL. It is lawabidingbiker.com/live. Anytime you can go there, you can check out the schedule. You can find out when we're going to go live. You can listen live. We have a chat right on that page. We have a chat group, which a bunch of the live listeners are in right now. The hosts here can correspond with you guys while we're recording. You can bring up subject matter. We'll try to get to what we can, of course, because we can't get too off track. But yeah, so we're going to talk to you guys while we're doing that. And it's a way that we can really get the community involved out there because you guys are the reason we do this. I love meeting all you guys. I love the guys that take action and, listen live and get in the chat rooms, and they're on our Facebook page and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really awesome. So we're always moving forward here at Law Abiding Biker Media. And that was something that I've had in the works for a long time. A lot of work, a lot of effort. It does cost us. Of course, nothing's free. And so we have to have live streaming services that we have to pay for and stuff to stream it for us. But I think it's worth it. I think it really, really gets people involved and gives them a sense of ownership. What say you, Oscar?
So if I screw up on this thing, I'm only typing with one thumb.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, I know, but someone's making fun of me already.
Are they?
Maybe.
That's sweet, dude. It's somebody. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, it is Rich. Look, Rick Kane's on there.
Yeah,
sweet.
He's only making fun of me a little bit.
Hey, Rick, did you? I just gave a shout out to you. I don't know when you got on, but thanks, buddy, for sending that Oscar song. And thank to you to all you. A bunch of you guys have T-shirts. Either sent one because you're a patron, or you purchased one. So thanks very much. We've got a loaded episode for you guys. We really do. As you all know, I brought Oscar in the studio, and Oscar, I will tell you, I'm the high-tech redneck when it comes to all this tech stuff, and I'm fairly mechanical. Me and Oscar, I think it's fair to say, Oscar, Matt's pretty mechanical.
He is. He does a good job.
Me, you, and Lurch are probably the most mechanical that are here at the podcast, right?
I would agree.
Okay. And I don't think any of the other guys would argue with you. If they did, they're not here anyways to defend themselves, so screw off.
That's right.
I don't know if they're in the live chat room or not, but so I bring Oscar on, guys, and really, I truly believe this. I'm not just saying this because he's a friend and in our club, but he really, really knows about this stuff. And I actually save a lot of this content for when I can get Oscar in the studio because I want to make sure it's answered correctly. And he knows a lot, but he also does a lot of research. And I really appreciate his time. And hopefully I know the listeners do too, because me and him can get in here and I can bounce stuff off of him. And I oftentimes get emails and I bounce them off him before I answer them because, I want to make sure that we're putting out information that is, valid information, I should say. So if I don't know
we get it right most of the time.
Yeah,
I think we
do.
Yeah.
But you add to it a lot, you'll be like, yeah, that's true, but there's also this and that. And so, yep, Oscar's sporting a new sweatshirt and hoodie, not in the studio, but
they're really nice.
Yep.
I mean, they're really nice.
They turned out good.
Yeah, I like that logo.
I do real quick, guys. So what we're going to do here on this episode is because I saved a lot of emails and some YouTube comments and a Facebook comment for Oscar, it's got a lot of content, guys. I think you'll enjoy it. But we're just going to do a voicemail. We've got some emails in the hopper here, a YouTube comment, but it's all really valid stuff. And I think stuff bikers really want to know about, the routine. I shouldn't say routine, but the regular, biker out there, the 99%, or this kind of stuff we want to know. Stuff that we can really use, right, Oscar?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, stuff, plugs we're going to talk about a little bit. I forget what else we got on there, but we'll get into it. So yeah, just monitor that. We'll monitor that chat room the best we can, guys. And
I've never actually been in a chat room before.
You have been in a chat room. That's the one your wife kicked you off.
What? Why is that got to go live?
Well, I'm just saying,
why
dude.
we got to be that way?
I'm just saying
That's not right.
Those kind of chat rooms, bro. When your wife hears that in the background, that's not only a chat room, bro. That is a live call, man.
I had the door shut. No one was supposed to hear
Did you think it was weird when you had to enter your credit card number?
No.
You notice for our chat, you don't have to enter a credit card number.
Everyone does that, right?
Right.
Right.
And you know what I should have did is just got you the iPad, but maybe next time we'll get you the iPad and you can see the chat room. But yeah, monitor that for me if you can, Oscar, the best you can. All right, guys, let's get into first email real quick. I do want to thank Mike Petrie. He's our newest Patreon member. If you guys want to get involved with Patreon, lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon, for less than a coffee a month, as you heard, you can support us. And we like Patreon, guys. We love donations. We're never going to say anything bad about that. The reason we like Patreon so much, especially me and Lurch, is because we got to pay the bills and we can kind of count on that money coming in. But you can get involved for up to $1 per episode, and that's it. And you can put a cap on it. If you give $2 or more, there are some benefits per episode, but you can put a cap on it. You guys know all about that. So let's get into our first. Oh, this has got a lot of stuff on it here, Oscar. Do you want to go? This guy was thanking us a lot too, but he brought up a really good points, and it comes back to my point, Oscar, about the content that we think we're providing, we hope we're providing for the regular biker, and things that matter to a guy like Darwin Chang of Irvine, California. Shout out to Irvine, California, and all our California listeners, all our listeners worldwide too. Yeah. So once you go in on this, and then we'll talk about a few things, and then we'll get into some more technical emails.
Should I just read from the top down? Because there's a bunch of stuff there.
Just right here, and then we'll talk about each segment.
Darwin says, as a rider new to the Harley community, you guys truly made me feel welcome to the kick-ass lifestyle of a Harley owner. Your videos are awesome, and your podcasts are hilarious and informative. Even with a tight budget and 3 kids to feed, I donated and will keep on donating.
Is that freaking awesome or what?
That is awesome.
That is. Here's a guy, 3 kids, but you know what? He likes the content, the free content so much that he's willing to donate even with that. Now he goes on, let's talk about this. This was a follow-up email. He says, this is how your podcast and web, he did this on his own. I didn't ask him.
Right.
So he says, his follow-up email says, this is how your podcast and website have helped me this year since I got my 2014 FLH XS, which is a Street Glide special, right?
Vivid black.
Mm-hmm. Vivid black, or at least it's it is a special because it's got the S on the end. A vivid black stock pipes for now. So, all right, this is number 1. Why don't you go? And he listed, he goes 4 different points, 5 different. So let's just go down. Go ahead.
Number 1, didn't know about all the Harley recalls and updates, but for your YouTube video on the recall and the boombox updates.
There you go. We try to get those out, and I'll continue to try to do that, guys. Go ahead.
Number 2, he says, I was going to screw myself by buying a Vance & Hines FP3, which is their newest flash tuner.
What's it stand for?
Fuel Pack 3, the third generation of the Fuel Pack. So he says, I was going to screw myself by buying a Vance & Hines Fuel Pack 3 and flash my ECM. But for your EFI podcast, now I feel better with buying a PCV, a Power Commander 5, with a stock map and not flashing my ECM.
Very cool. And what he's referencing, guys, is our episode, which was one of our most popular, and the one I refer a lot of people to that email me, is lawabidingbiker.com/EFI tuners, episode 34. If you're in iTunes or Stitcher or something, you can just go to episode number 34. Hit number 3 there, buddy.
And I like this one because you and I talked about this one a long time ago. He says he was going to waste more money on a $300 aftermarket airbox, but for the comments in the podcast that the 2014 airbox is a good design, so why fix something that isn't broke? So he just got a Canon stock filter and stuck with a stock airbox.
Yep, and we talked about that. Did we have an episode on that? We
covered it.
We did. I just don't remember.
I don't either, but I know we covered it because it is a good design.
And it might even be in that EFI too. I think it is. I think it's in that episode 34, the same one.
Is it?
Yeah, because I talked about I liked it so much that I didn't even do that. Change it. And I think I've talked about it a few times, but all right, hit number 4.
And last but not least, the latest podcast reaffirmed my good decision on my 2014 Harley purchase over the Victory Cross Country. Cross Country is an excellent bike, but the Harley community is second to none.
That is what I'm talking about. And you guys know here at lawabidingbiker.com, we support all makes and models of bikes. You don't have to have a Harley. That's just what we write. I've told you guys in the past, that's what we're more comfortable talking about. But we have got into the Victory. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we've got a video coming out, guys. I actually wasn't going to talk about this, but I'll brief on it. Me and Lurch got a hold of a Victory cross country, and we're going to do some stuff to it. Oscar, you're going to do an oil change, and we're going to videotape that.
Cool.
We're going to do a full service on a Victory. The video we shot already is a video of putting on running lights on it. Mm. So we took the whole fairing apart. It's different, quite a bit different, cool. As far as that goes.
Yeah.
Taking apart a Harley. But, we support all the bikes. We're trying to do as many as we can. Where he got that information is from our Bagger Challenge episode, which was episode number 59, lawabidingbiker.com/2014 Bagger Challenge. I made an easy link there, but it is episode number 59. And so that made his mind up. And that's really cool. That was an intense episode. All right. We'll hit number 5. Oh, I'll do this. Awesome videos. No need to explain, he says. So he loves our videos. And if you want to see all our free videos, lawabidingbiker.com/free videos. It's an easy link from him there. And my YouTube channel is Scrappy587. Number 6, most of all, you and your crew have great chemistry on your podcasts. I literally stopped listening to my local talk radio in my morning commute and just put on one of your podcasts on my iPhone. Atta boy, man, that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I really enjoyed reading that.
I did too. And here's what I'll say. I don't understand why people listen unless there's some show. The regular radio, I have not literally, Oscar, even in my car at work, I haven't turned it on in 2 years because all I do is listen to podcasts on my phone. I find regular conventional radio, broadcast radio, it's really taken a hit because of podcasts.
Right.
Because you got a bunch of guys on there, and I'm not talking bad about them, but they talk about stuff I don't care about.
Right.
You're not talking about motorcycles, and you're not a biker. And, would I rather invest my time listening to guys that I have stuff in common with? Or would I rather listen to some morning show, some guy that talks about nothing and plays the same music for 2 years in a row? Is that annoying or what? Yeah.
A lot of those shows drive me crazy. I like to listen to music, but those
you
guys,
can do that on your phone now,
they
though.
can just skip that.
Right. Why don't you just listen on your phone? Even if you just listen to what are some of those music services? Like there's iTunes Radio now.
Pandora and Stitcher.
I mean, yeah,
I don't have any way to get my phone in my work car through my speakers.
Right.
And my hearing is terrible.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
So I can't really hear my phone.
A lot of cars are coming with that now, the hookup and the Bluetooth, and
Right.
they actually have a lot of the cars are having a podcast app built right in them.
Oh,
so you can
better.
actually, it's big for the podcast industry. It really is. So I agree, buddy. I totally agree with Darwin Cheng here of Irvine, California. Get people listening to podcasts. It's a lot of people don't know about them yet. And you guys heard some clips I've played at the beginning of podcasts before where I'm asking people what their favorite podcast is. I'm telling you, spread the word to people about how easy a podcast is and how much better it is than broadcast radio. Cause I truly believe that. Literally, I have not listened to my radio in like 2+ years, my regular broadcast radio. There are such good content out there. So what's this last part? Yeah. He says, I will be doing my 2014 Christmas shopping with the LAB affiliates. How is that, man?
That's pretty awesome.
So he's going to go to lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon, and whatever he purchases after that, we get a small kickback. No additional cost to you. That's right.
And there's some great affiliates.
Yes.
I mean, some really good affiliates.
B&H,
Mm-hmm.
B&H and Amazon. And so we really appreciate that, guys. It's just, we don't get a ton from it, but any little bit helps to put a little fuel in the Law Abiding Biker gas tank and keep this going on down the road. All right. You want to get into a voicemail here, buddy?
I think we should. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got here. And I don't remember exactly what this is about. Oh, here it is. Okay. Here we go.
This is Jim in Western Kentucky. First of all, to the helpers of the motorcycle majority, thank you. Being new to the sport, I have lots of questions which Ryan and crew have been very, very helpful. Now probably a question for Oscar. I regularly use BP's 93 octane gas in my 06 Road King police bike. And I've noticed when I don't end up having, when I don't fill up with BP and use some other local gas station, not a major gas station, I end up with upwards of 1.5 miles per gallon less. I generally fill up with about 4+ gallons, and just wondering what everyone's thoughts might be on that, or Oscar might have some insight. Thanks again. Be good and keep up the good work. Thank you. Bye.
All right, Oscar. So why don't you just roll with that, because I saved that one for you, buddy.
I barely have outside. I don't know how I get inside. Oh, I know. I tried. That's all I got.
Oh, that was loud.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, it's funny because motors are all made, with the same specs. So Ford will produce, or Harley will produce, however many, 15,000 103s this year, next year, last year, or whatever. And Ford will produce, 75,000 of the new 5 liters. And although they're all made of the same metals and made of the same specs, there's little touch of magic in there somewhere. And so, Jim, all I can tell you, and I hate it when I can't definitively answer a question, but all I can tell you is that happens. It's happened to me. I had a little Ford Ranger, and when I used certain brands of gas, I would sometimes get 3 or 4 miles per gallon in this little truck difference. So I stuck with Conoco. And my little Ford Ranger, Conoco, I'd get 25 miles a gallon. If I went to Arco or Texaco, I'd get like 22. I have no idea. And I researched it quite a bit. And it's magic. I have no idea. No one really knows. The only consensus I can come up with is that it could depend on the additive that BP's using right now. And BP, I think, bought Arco. So even though all the Arcos are generally BP gas. But then it even depends on which BP you go to.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
I've never had this problem. Now I've had the problem, I'm certain, but you really pay attention.
I track all my gas
Right.
mileage and where I'm getting it and stuff. And so,
Is there an app for that or anything do you use an app?
well, I did.
Oh, not anymore?
Well, it stopped working. And so I thought, all right, maybe it's my phone. So I deleted the app and went looking for it again. And the guy that was making it, he didn't make it anymore. He hasn't made it for a long time.
Oh, really? That's too bad.
It's too bad. It was called MotoMinder. It was a fantastic app. I found a new one called Gearhead,
Yeah.
and it's pretty good. And it's neutral, so you can use it for motorcycles, cars, whatever.
Okay.
And it works real similar to MotoMinder. And I've been tracking my fuel mileage, but I pay real close attention to that. And he's right. When I get gas,
I never knew this until he left me this message.
yeah, it happens a lot, and I hear it a lot, and I have no idea why. And the additives that the different gas companies use, everyone's getting gas from like 4 or 5 different places. So all the fueling stations you go to, and they're all over different ones. There's about 4 or 5 places they're getting gas from, and then they add their own additive or not to it. And what's in that additive is the magic.
Really?
And so
That's what makes the difference in gas mileage, you think?
that's the only thing consistent out of the research I did that I could come up with.
Really?
Yeah. And so I know, like, I tried a fuel system cleaner, and of course, I'll set it all aside. The AMSOIL Performance Improver is the best, but next is the Chevron Supreme. And I tried Lucas. I tried a bunch of different brands of these fuel injector cleaners stuff in my truck, and until I used AMSOIL, by far Chevron Supreme was the best. I have no idea why, but
As far as a fuel additive.
as far as a fuel additive,
How often are you using that? Because I don't use it ever. Should I?
Yeah, it works. The AMSOIL Performance Improver, I use it once or twice a year. And
It's not octane boost?
Nope.
It's just performance.
It's an injector cleaner, a fuel system cleaner, and it works. And the Chevron Supreme works great too. I had really good success with the Chevron Supreme before I started using AMSOIL. And but the rest of them, I mean, there's 100 of them out there. I used 4 or 5 different ones, and I didn't notice any difference. I used Chevron and AMSOIL, and I actually noticed a difference, especially in my fuel economy, for at least 3 or 4 months following a full tank treatment. But the same goes with gasoline. I have no idea. No one seems to know why.
that is so weird.
But different motors run a little bit different on gas from different gas stations. It's bizarre. It's true. So I don't know, Jim, what to tell you other than it's true. It happens, and I can't figure out why.
So nothing's wrong with your bike, Jim, is the answer to that, right?
Right?
It's strictly an issue that I'm now more aware of, and we're going to have to look. I mean, you did some research.
I did for a couple of days.
Really?
How can you have Ford make 2 of the exact same spec 5-liter motors,
Right.
and one gets 18 miles to the gallon and the other gets 15?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
But how the motors are broke in and the conditions they're running, everything's a little bit different, and the gas is the same way. So you're right on board, man. Keep using that BP if you're getting good fuel economy out of that. Keep using it.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to have to pay more attention to my mileage because, I don't know, on a 7-day trip and 2,000 plus miles, is that a huge difference? I didn't do the math. I'm not a math guy.
Well, I mean, if we went 2,000 miles and you got a mile better, so...
Oh, live math right here. Live math.
Holy cow.
You're going to eat it.
2,000 miles.
You're going to eat it.
At 40 miles to the gallon, that's 50 gallons, right?
Don't ask me.
Okay, so
I'm chatting.
if you got 41 miles to the gallon, that'd give you an extra 50 miles, which is, I don't know, third of a tank. So it might save you $10.
No. So,
It's not huge, but
Right.
yeah, but if you're doing it enough, it could be.
right. And just to make sure that nothing's wrong with your bike,
Right.
Right. I
Yep,
mean,
no, nothing's wrong with it. That it's just a phenomenon. I haven't been able to figure out how to explain it. No one else can that I can tell either, but it's true. It happens. It's just your bike likes that gas, and it's like I like hamburgers.
right. Oh, that was funny. So speaking of Oscar and hamburgers, so I text him while I'm getting the studio set up. I know he's coming over, and I told him, I said, do you want a double? Because Oscar is seriously like a garbage pit. This boy can eat. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. The boy can freaking eat.
I got to be good at something.
Definitely.
Oh, I love trash.
He can eat.
Anything dirty or dingy.
Oh, I love that song.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. So seriously, I asked him, you want a double? And he texted me back the weirdest thing. And he says, no, single. I text back. I said, are you okay? Everything all right? And he tells me, he said, he just responds back, food poisoning. I'm like, okay, he's joking around. And he comes back like 2 minutes later and says, all right, I'll take a double. I was like, I wasn't trying to talk you into it, dude. Now I feel bad. But I just wanted to make sure you were feeling okay. So apparently Oscar was not feeling well today and at all. And actually has a little bit of the flu, but because we were going live, that's what he does, guys. Because we were going live tonight for the first time, and we didn't want to get the schedule off, he manned up and he really did come over here, and he's sitting here. And so we appreciate that. But yeah, so he ended up with a double, and
It was delicious.
it was, and you
It
ate it
was.
just fine, and you're holding it down.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Mhm.
Unlike the tacos from lunch.
Yeah.
The hamburgers.
As long as we get through this episode, we'll be good. So thanks, Jim, for sending that. If you guys want to get involved, you can call us at our listener hotline, 509-731-3548, or anywhere in the world. So there's no charges at all. lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail, right from your computer microphone. Super easy. It's a really clean recording. All right, guys, if you haven't checked it out, make sure to check out a great cell phone motorcycle mount solution, and that is the Tech Mount, the Tech Gripper. That's right, tried and tested by the crew here at Law Abiding Biker Media. No, they don't sponsor us, but we do have an affiliate with them through Power Sports US. That's our affiliate link is lawabidingbiker.com/powersportsus. No additional cost to you. That's right. We do get a small kickback for that, and we are their #1 affiliate right now. It is a great mount, and you can actually mount. I see some guys mounting their Power Vision on it now from DynoJet,
Oh, yeah.
which we've got an episode coming up on.
Oh.
Because I got to talk to you about this.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that new DynoJet flash tuner. It's the Power Vision, but we're not going to get into it today. But that Tech Gripper is a really great for GPS, for phones. Chewy's got one on his bike. LD does. I'm getting one for Popeye. So yeah, it's check it out, guys. Again, lawabidingbiker.com/powersportsus, and they've got some other stuff over there too. But I think that's one of their biggest products. All right, so this was a YouTube comment on our YouTube channel at Scrappy587. It comes in from it's reference our most popular YouTube video, which is our very first video we ever put out, which is funny, still our most popular, and it's our free maintenance video over at lawabidingbiker.com/maintenance, the full oil change video, guys, everything, to do, the safety check and all that. But this is what's his username, Soko Dad. So why don't you go with this, because you're going to end up answering it anyways, buddy.
Oh, I got
that's
it.
you.
Yep.
That's
I noticed last night, previous owner put Champion plugs in it. Several people, couple forums and dealer suggested going back to factory Harley plugs because they are built with some anti-knock feature or something like that. What's your opinion on my plug situation? Wife and I are doing a 4-state road trip, and I'm trying to avoid problems. You want me to answer?
Yeah, that's all you, buddy. We
yeah.
talked about this on text, right?
Oh, that's right, we did. Yeah, all right. Well, here's the deal with spark plugs. Simply carry electricity to the combustion chamber to ignite the fuel air mixture. The what he's talking about, the anti-knock feature, that is not in any spark plug. That is actually in the bike itself. So the inside the head, I'm not entirely sure where the sensors are, but there's an ion sensor that detects the conditions that would contribute to knock, which is pre-ignition of the air fuel mixture due to high temperature or whatever. That's in the bike, not in the plug. All that plug does is send a spark into the combustion chamber to ignite the air fuel mixture. So what you need to know about plugs, and Do yourself a favor, fellow bikeaholics. Just take this from me. Just trust me. Don't do it. Do not look up. Do not Google how to break in a motorcycle engine, and do not do not Google anything about spark plugs. Just trust me. I did that. I spent painful hours sorting through lots of crap, and there is a lot of stuff out there on spark plugs. So for spark plugs, what it amounts to is the type of material the plug is made of, and how well it conducts electricity. So what I was telling our host is I went away from, when I got my bike, and the Harley considers the 103 to be a pretty big, good size motor. Kawasaki made the Vulcan in a 2000 for a while. That's a good size. Most of them are in the 16 to 1800 range. The amount of power it takes for the starter to start a motor that big is quite a bit. So they put compression releases in there. Simply relieves a little bit of pressure in the combustion chamber so the starter can kick the motor over. Simply relieves a little bit of pressure in the combustion chamber.
I'm sorry.
What was that about?
Oh, I accidentally, see, there's the first time live. We made a little boo-boo there.
That was funny.
So there's a couple guys, just to make sure, sorry to interrupt you there.
Go for it.
You guys that are listening live, there's one guy, and I had to turn it off there, but make sure you go to lawabidingbiker.com/live. There's a chat page right there. That's where you want to be chatting. Don't go over to Mixler, which is the service I'm using to stream the podcast, because there's a whole separate chat. I'm not even going to use that at all. However, I got a notification, so I went over there, and then it started playing our podcast back that we're streaming live. Of course, there's a 5-second delay, but so yeah,
funny.
make sure if you're listening live and you want to chat with us, head over to lawabidingbiker.com/live, and over there is a chat box. That's what we want to use. It's Chatwing is the service I use over there. We're not going to check the Mixler.com chat at all. So, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. When I first got my bike, my 13 Limited, my 06 had the 88, and I'd hit the button, it would fire right up. The bigger bikes take a little bit more to start up because there's a little bit more piston to push. It takes a little more power for the starter. So the stock Harley, a plug that flows electricity a little bit more efficiently will make the bike easier to start. That's the theory. That's the best way I can explain it because it's the way I understand it.
How? I don't mean to get you off track. Okay, I'm a techie guy. I get it. How much different can one company to the next make a freaking plug? What goes into making a plug?
You know what, ADHD guy? You just give me a minute. Let me answer. I'm getting there.
Okay.
So he said Champion plugs. You know what? I'm not talking brand at all. Autolite, NGK. I don't know who makes Harley's plugs, and probably not Harley, but Autolite, NGK. There's a bunch of them. The brand, I've used Autolites, NGKs. I've tried the Screaming Eagle Platinums. I've used the Harley 6R12 regular plug that they use for every motor on the planet.
That's the Harley?
The 6R12. That's their stock plug.
Right.
With a copper core.
Which somebody else obviously makes. They throw their name on it just like their oil.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's not so much the brand, because I used, in my 13, I just put Autolites. I used NGKs. In my 06, I used Autolites. It's fine. It's the material. So you have whatever the standard plug is, probably copper core, I think. There's platinum. There's one more. There's copper, platinum, and anyway, the top.
Gold.
No, they don't.
I love gold. I love gold.
Iridium is the material that you want to go with, and iridium is the most efficient at transmitting electricity and producing that spark. And that's what I switched to, is an NGK Iridium. NGK is one of the largest spark plug makers in the world. They make spark plugs for everything. I'd never used NGK.
They have them for lawn. I do see those a lot.
Lawnmowers, car, it doesn't matter. So I got on a couple of places that I buy motorcycle parts from, and clicked on the NGK plugs and read the reviews. And unlike like some of the platinums and stuff, all the reviews on the Iridium plugs are top notch. So I bought a pair for my bike, and Chewy said he was due for plugs. I'm like, hey, I'm going to get these. Let's try them. If they don't work, I'll eat them.
Right.
Because I did an oil change in the bike too. And
do you get those through your dealer thing?
No.
They don't do plugs at all.
They used to do.
Oh, AMSoil is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, they used to do NGKs. And apparently they don't anymore. So I ordered 2 sets of these NGK Iridiums, and I put a set in my bike about 400 miles ago, and I noticed, without a doubt, easier starting. Now, I haven't ridden it quite enough and quite long enough, because I did it in the late fall to test the fuel economy. But before with the if you're using the Power Commander 5, you might notice it's a little harder to start.
Good point.
And we've covered that before.
Covered again.
Because the Power Commander 5 uses the power from the when the injectors are powered. That's what the Power Commander 5 uses to power the unit. And so because of that, it can make the bike a little tougher to start. It's totally normal. I've had it on there. I haven't had any problems, but it does take a little bit more to start.
I noticed Chewy's does after we put that on there too.
Yes, exactly.
His Street Glide. Mm-hmm.
And I put those Iridium plugs in there, and it cut that down at least in half.
What's the at the end of the day, I want to talk more tech stuff, but what's the price point we're talking here?
So you can buy a set of the 6R12s from Harley. They're stock plug for like, what are they, $3 a piece? I paid $20 or I paid $10 a piece for the NGK Iridiums.
Okay, and how much for the 6Lrs?
Probably $6 a pair.
Okay, so okay, not
but the NGK,
huge.
Well, yeah, that's not huge. The Iridiums will tend to last probably another 10 or 15,000 miles longer than a standard plug.
Really?
Yeah, and they foul less easily, and they are supposed to conduct a more efficient spark.
Okay.
So you get more efficient combustion. And that will lead to a little bit more power, and probably what's more likely is a little bit better fuel economy.
Did you do the tongue test to see how much spark it has? Not that kind of tongue test.
Oh,
yeah.
I did the nipple test instead.
Right.
Actually, yeah.
You stick the spark plug on your tongue?
Mm-hmm.
No, not
I
so
stuck
much.
them on my nipple.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's better that way. It's a lot more effective, and you can really feel the plug.
Right. We're gonna have to do a tutorial video on that. Oscar and his nipples. That's a bad visual, dude.
They're when I read, unfortunately, all about spark plugs, which is a painful experience. There's a lot of people out there that just swear by a basic spark plug, and they're fine, and you're not gonna have any problems getting any. You just want to make sure that whatever company you buy the plugs from is the equivalent of the Harley, because the only thing that matters in plugs is the heat at which they run, and that matters. And I researched it at one point, and right now it's slipping my memory what that actually means. But what temperature the plugs run at, and it's not certain plugs have to run at certain temperatures, and it's not like 78 degrees and 105. It has to do with the conductivity of electricity. And I can't remember right now. I knew it at one point, and I purged it, because if you buy from a reputable motorcycle parts company, they will reference the Harley part number 6R12. So as long as you see that, it's fine.
Okay.
Autolite makes a good Iridium. NGK.
Iridium is the way to go, though.
Iridium is the way to go. My Chevy truck runs on only Iridium plugs.
So here's what I say to add a little bit to this. Good information. It is. And, I've never been a big spark plug guy. Now, I've read a little bit like you, but you've done way more research than me. Enough to where it doesn't make sense, to me at this point, not to get a little bit better plugs. Here's why. Okay. You guys out there, you do not, Hardy says you can read right in the maintenance manual. You do not need to do plugs until 30,000 miles, guys.
Right.
Now, Oscar does them before. I think, am I correct on that, Oscar? Because I've talked to you. Here's the deal. Just like me, every year I do my lawnmower, right? So at the end of the season, and this is before I started using AMSoil, which I'm hooked on now. Well, you get me a good deal on it.
Right.
It cost me the same amount to do that, and it's better oil. So I'm like, whatever.
Right.
It depends what deal you're dealing with on how good a deal you get. But so I would do for a little comparison here. So I would do my lawn tractor once a year. I would go down to John Deere, and I would get the 1 year maintenance kit for like $65. It's got the filter, the air filter. It's got the oil filter. It's got the oil in it and all this. It's got a fuel filter and a spark plug. And I just do the kit every year. It's $65. Yeah. I could get by less. I know that I've talked to you now.
Right.
Cause you're like, I don't have ever changed my spark plug. And I'm like, you're right. And I don't need to change my fuel filter anymore. They sell me this kit, and I'm a sucker. I get it.
Right.
I freely admit live here that I'm a sucker when it comes to that. Not anymore, because Oscar has gotten me, because I'm better with the lawn tractor. Just one of those things. You're like, I just don't want any hassles with it. Sharpen the blades every year. Do that crap. Good to go.
Right.
But this year I went with the AMSOIL on it, and so it doesn't need that stuff every year. Just like a Harley, a lot of guys replace their plugs early. I've ran my stock plugs and to easy and never changed them.
Right.
Well, you are really, guys, you're good till 30,000 on your plugs, and that's what the dealer will tell you. That's what the service manual will tell you. Unless you're having problems, of course, of some sort, and that's the problem. But so here's my point, and see what you think. I'm thinking, and if I'm going to get plugs, and I'm going to do them at 30,000, it's $4 more per plug.
Sure.
So for 30,000 miles, it's going to cost me $8 more to get Iridium plugs.
Right.
And you say they last longer. How much longer? Are you still going to change? Let's say you bought a brand new Harley, Oscar, tomorrow, and you're like, I don't like those 6LR plugs, the Harley ones. I'm going to put Autolite Iridiums in them or whatever, NGK Iridiums. Are you still going to change them at 30,000, or are you just going to go for it?
I'm just going to go for it.
Oh, you're crazy.
I know it.
Dude, you're crazy.
Well, you know what? Part of the problem is I changed them out early because I wanted to test. I like
That's
testing.
Oscar. Heading on down the road. Mhm.
I like to test out. I read the stuff on forums. I'm like, I want to know if it makes a difference. And for $20, what the hell? I'm going to try it out. So I tried the Screaming Eagle Platinum ones or whatever they are first. They were fine. They were the same as I didn't notice any difference between the stock 6R12s and the Screaming Eagles. So I'm like, you know what? I had the Autolite Iridiums in my 06 and I noticed a big difference. I'm going to switch. I did it early again.
Right.
Because I wanted to test it.
Okay, right.
Not because they needed it.
That's what Oscar does for you guys.
That's
We're going to
what
be
I do.
testing some more stuff. We tested the Power Commander. We got some other stuff for you guys. Of course, we have to buy it. So we have to save some money so I can buy this stuff to test it for you guys, because these companies apparently don't know enough about us yet to send it to us for free. But yeah, go ahead.
Bottom line with your plugs is check the gap. So when I pulled my Screaming Eagles, they had maybe 10,000 miles on them. They were out of gap by 0.005 of an inch, and that can matter.
You really
And so we're
need to pay
Chewies.
attention to the gap.
You should pay attention to the gap. If you're not in the chat box,
If the gap's too big, it doesn't.
dude, it
things
can get
just don't
sloppy.
work as
Oh,
well.
it
Right.
doesn't work. Yeah. Oh, if the gap is too big, guys, I don't know what to tell you.
There you go. One for us. One for us. There you go.
That's not right.
All right. So you just change yours because you're testing them, but
Yeah.
you're telling guys out there we can go till 30,000.
I'm
right?
gonna leave my Iridiums forever,
Okay.
and I'm gonna check the gap every couple of years.
I've got some live chat I want to get on here. It's a good comment from listener Richard Kane. Thanks for being involved there. All you guys on chat right now. I want to say real quick that Steve Greer, thanks, buddy. He says the Tech Gripper is great. Bought it after watching your review. Great. Really appreciate it. And if you guys want to see that review that he's talking about, head over to lawabidingbiker.com/cell phone motorcycle mount. All one word, of course. And excuse me, we've got the video over there and a review video of it, and I test it and all kinds of stuff. And then I've got Richard Kane here. This is really cool that we got this chat going, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Because it's live
Mhm.
and it brings us stuff to talk about.
Mhm.
And I want to hear what Richard Kane has to say, and I want to hear what Steve Greer has to say, and the other guys in the chat room here. Who else we got here? Yeah. Oh, we've got some usernames. So Rondi242. It's really, it adds a new element. And we like we said in the past, we built the platform.
Yeah.
We want to get your guys' message out there because you guys have awesome input, and we want to hear what you have to say and what you think about this stuff. Here we go. This was a funny one. Who was it said when we were talking about all gasoline starts the same, and then somebody said, just gas and go. I can't find it right now. Yeah, here it is. Oh, Steve Greer says, don't worry about it, Ryan, just gas and go. Love it. But Richard here is weighing in on the spark plug conversation here.
Even better.
And he's very smart because we've talked to him before.
Yeah.
He's a friend of ours, guys. He's doesn't live in our area. He's about an hour away, but super good guy. And he has a lot of technical stuff too. He says, all I've ever read is Champion has the current HD contract. So there you go.
Oh, that's who makes them then.
Okay.
That
They
would
make
make
the
sense.
6LR. Mm-hmm.
6R12.
Or sorry, 6. I keep calling it the wrong thing. 6R12. He says NGK Iridium is the best choice. Some forum gave, guy says 1 to 4 miles per gallon better. The real differences is the amount of additives that are in the gas, Nielsen says. More additives essentially afford more protection, but they also cost more. Very good input.
God, that's so cool.
Oh, he got that from, sorry about the extra info. That was a quote from AAA on gas. So there you go. See, there's a guy listening live, doing research for us, throwing it at us. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because we only have so much time to do that.
Yeah.
And eventually, excuse me, guys, I do have a cold. So if you hear my voice changing like that, I apologize. But eventually, this is a lot of work to do everything.
I know.
So I'm going to get smooth at this because I've got so much back here. And eventually, I'm going to give you guys control of the chat because I just can't keep up on it and run the mixer and all this stuff and the soundboard and the notes. But eventually, Oscar, when we do the live shows, you guys can look forward to that. I'm eventually going to take calls live.
Dude, that's cool.
Isn't that going to be cool?
That'll be fun.
I'm gonna do Skype if people want to call in on Skype and weigh in. So we've got some stuff in the works, guy. But let's get this live streaming thing down first.
One thing at a time.
Sound good? Yeah,
I'm good. I'm there.
It took us almost 70 episodes, and you gotta do one thing at a time because it takes a lot just to do a podcast and then to live stream it is a whole nother thing. So good information on the plug. So here's what I'm going to do, Oscar.
Okay.
When I'm due for plugs, and I'll probably change mine early, at 25 or something, 20, 25, whatever, because they're going to last forever. I'm going to go ahead and for $8 more, just get some iridiums. What the hell?
I think we should test something else.
Okay. What do you want to test?
It's what's that?
You know me, I'll buy them.
The Nology plugs and wires.
That's not that much. I can actually afford that. I can't afford a lot of stuff, but I can afford that.
We should do the Nology plugs and wires.
What's that about, bro?
It's cool.
I haven't heard about that.
Just give me your bike for a weekend. I'll bring it back.
Okay. Do you want to just give us an overview of what that is, or are they just special plug wires?
It's just a different plug, but they require their own wires. They're supposed to transmit or conduct electricity even more efficiently.
Okay.
I didn't get them. I didn't try them because you got to buy the wire set too, and it would have been a little like $50 for the set.
All right.
And then you're stuck with Nology plugs. But I'd like to test them out and see if it's true, if it's better. And I think they're iridium.
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah. Let's give it a shot. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right, Oscar. So
how deep my geekdom runs is that my poor wife must track her gas mileage in her car. And
because of you?
She's listening. And she just said that her car likes Safeway gas better than anything else.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It's a Honda Pilot. And she said, my car loves Safeway gas.
Well, good. Because I get gas at Safeway for the bike.
I do too.
Yeah.
I used to never. And now I started getting, and I actually got Costco too. And my bike runs great on Costco gas.
Yeah. I guess I do Costco gas too.
You do?
I do.
Hi,
All right.
honey.
So, yeah. All right, guys. Hopefully that wasn't too long a break. I got a little water, and I'm not going to lie to you. I got a Coors Light too. But
yeah, it has water in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
there
fine.
You go.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, for the podcast listeners, you'll be listening to this in the future. We had to take a small break from the live production and played a little music there. All right, so this is another email that we're going to get right into. That was really good. Do we need to do anything else about plugs, or I think that's enough information on plugs.
Probably more than anyone really wanted to know.
Probably. But you know what? It's one of those questions that it's real confusing.
It is. It comes up a lot in the blogs and stuff. And I'm like, wow.
And if you care about it, it's something you want to know.
Right.
And so hopefully we broke it down enough for everybody to stop stressing out about plugs and just go, okay, I'm going to spend an extra $8 every 30,000 miles.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put better plugs in the iridium and see if it helps at all. So,
yep.
All right, this is from an email, and I don't know where he's from, but it was John Sanchez. Hit it, buddy.
John says, I had some Screaming Eagle Street Cannon slip-ons, put on a 14 Street Glide. It sounds good. But to me, it sounds like the left pipe is louder than the right. I noticed it more when I give it throttle in my driveway. Is this normal? Is it just me? Can I fix at home?
What do you think about that, dude?
I think
that's kind of a loaded question. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, there's some unknowns there. Like the old bikes, like my 06, it was like that because of the way the exhaust was set up. It was a crossover in the back. So most of the exhaust ran out the right side, but they crossed some exhaust from the rear cylinder over the left side. So it was louder on the right side a little bit. On the 14s and the 13s, I think 9 and newer, it's a 2-into-1 into 2. And so it meets on the right side and then goes over to the left side. So I guess it's possible.
I've listened to mine after he sent me this email too, because I'm like, so one, like my bike, one's longer than the other.
Yeah.
Right? Well, they try to make them as even as possible because one comes out of the rear, but then the one crosses underneath.
all that matter, but that's
Because it chambers.
yeah, but the length only matters
Whatever.
pre muffler.
Whatever, dude.
It's true,
That's what you tell all the girls?
and they buy into it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got married.
So say that again,
My
dude.
pre muffler length is huge, and it matches on both sides.
Right.
Right,
Yeah. What? So technically, mine chamber. They're not the same length when they chamber, because the rear,
Yeah, well,
the front head is going to be longer than the rear head, and then they chamber. Just keep on track. Keep on track.
can't
Dang
stop.
it! All right.
They should be pretty close to the same.
Okay.
They should be pretty close. Like mine's a true 2-1.
Right. Yours is.
And
Fat Cats
yeah,
used.
D&D runs the rear exhaust forward and back before it meets the chamber, and because they want to be pretty close to the same.
Right. Which is key to performance.
Right. Exactly. After that, though, it doesn't matter. So, but
After the chamber.
after the chamber,
Right.
so it is a little longer to go to the left side, and the exhaust has got to push a little farther. So in theory, conceivably, you could get a little bit more pressure on the right side because it's coming straight out of the chamber. It's going a little bit shorter distance right into the muffler.
Okay.
I never thought about it. We could measure.
Right.
I think the left side's a little bit longer.
Okay.
So the exhaust has farther to go.
That's what I think too. And what we're talking about real quick, guys, I'm sure a lot of you know, but just for the listeners to give a visual. So my pipes are 2, one comes out of each head. It goes into one, and that's what we're talking about, the chamber. It chambers, and there's a whole chamber in there, and that's where your catalytic converter is, or where it was at one point.
No, where it is.
I mean, that's absolutely, guys, that's where my catalytic converter is in my bike.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
And that is, yeah. So it chambers and then it pops back out into 2, and then one goes under, comes out the left and the right. So, I don't know as far as that goes, as far as the pipe being louder, but is it something to worry about, Oscar, off the top of
No,
your head? I mean, if he's
I mean,
running good, I wouldn't worry about it.
If it's something that just bugs you because it bugs you, there's Paxil, but
Right.
it's not. Doesn't change anything.
Okay.
So I wouldn't worry about it.
There you go. It was an interesting question, and I didn't quite know how to answer it because I'm like, it makes sense that one might be a little bit if it's a little bit longer or something, but as long as you're not having performance issues, John Sanchez, then just ride, throttle down, haul ass.
Can I address John's dilemma just for a second?
Go ahead.
Harley has created, God bless their advertising department, they're good at it. They've created this kind of myth that Harley is super special thing, and it causes people to freak out a little bit. And I know that, John, because I went through the same thing with my first bike. They're like, oh, it's a Harley and it's special and it's a Harley and you get a little worried about stuff. I'm telling you, after now 2 bikes and some Hondas in the past, it's a 2-cylinder, 4-stroke motor, just like your lawnmower and our host's riding lawnmower and, an 8-cylinder truck. It's really not, most stuff that goes is not a big deal. It's air cooled. It's going to sound different in the summer. It's going to sound different. It'll sound different in the winter than it does in the summer, and then it does in the spring, than it does in the rain. Other than that, it's just a basic 2-cylinder, 4-stroke motor. There's nothing real fancy. So little things that worry us all, and Harley did this to us because
Right.
almost everyone I know has the Harley syndrome, which is this or that or little thing or whatever. So really, you're in the same boat as the rest of us, but with your exhaust, dude, I wouldn't worry about it.
There you go. All right. We got more emails. We're not going to get to everything because I don't want to go too long over an hour, but t-shirt deal, guys, real quick. If you haven't got a t-shirt, we really would appreciate it. It does support us. We're transparent here at Law Abiding Biker Podcast and Media. So the t-shirt deal is you can head over to lawabidingbiker.com/shirt or /shirts. It really doesn't matter. It will take you to the landing page there. You can order a t-shirt. We are going to make some money off the t-shirts, guys. So the more we sell, the better, because we can dump it back into the podcast and the videos and all that stuff. But so just think of it when you're buying the t-shirt, you're helping us and you're getting something back in return. So appreciate you checking that out. The deadline for that, it is a pre-order, guys. The deadline, we had to pre-order them because we got to have the money before we have them all made because we just simply don't have enough to buy that many t-shirts. So it is a pre-order. The offer expires December 15th, 2014 at midnight. and we will ship those out the first week of January. So it ends December 15th. We'll get them printed up, pay the guy, get them all printed up and send them out to you guys. And then, like I say, the extra additional cost of the shirts, whatever money is left over, we'll throw back into this little endeavor. So we're just to help us get through the winter here and pay the bills and stuff. So enough of that. Let's jump in. We've got some time. Let's jump right into another email here. This is an Oscar question.
I think you should read this one.
Okay. Ryan, your videos are very good and informative. I just installed a Vance and Hines exhaust system and air cleaner on my bike and got the Fuel Pack FP3. The instructions seem to be simple, but after I flashed the ECM, which is an electronic control module or engine control module, guys, I took it for a ride. When I decelerated, it would pop and backfire. I didn't know if that was normal, but I didn't like the popping and backfiring. I am also doing an auto tune on it. So he's going to get the auto tuner. Is that what he's saying? I don't understand that.
Well,
Let me finish
remember.
it.
Yeah,
he says, I am doing an auto tune on it now and going to put about 300 miles this weekend. I was wondering if you had any insight on the system or not. I would like any information you have on it. So what say you, Oscar? I have a response because I responded to him, of course, via email, but I wanted to bring it up on the show.
Your response is right on.
Okay.
Because we did that that was a long time ago. And I have since purged the research that I did because
I'm not interested.
Yeah, right. I didn't keep it.
And so what we're talking about, guys, is the Fuel Pack 3 made by Vance and Hines. They're trying to make and what I assume what he's talking about here is he's trying to auto tune with the FP3, the Fuel Pack 3, because they don't auto tune.
I didn't think it did.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It just has. So the FP3 guys, the the Vance and Hines Fuel Pack 3, it's their competition for the Power Vision and stuff, but it's not. To me, it's not competition.
No.
All it does is it does the same thing the Power Commander 5 does. It tunes your bike with the basic map. Aside from if the fuel or the Power Commander 5, you put the auto tuner with it,
right?
Then you're auto tuning and you're really getting really fine. But it's not tuning your bike right, bro. If you're running lean, if you're backfiring, right, Oscar?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So you're running lean, and if it's not tuning it right, I'm serious, dude. I'd send that thing back. I like Vance and Hines stuff. I have Vance and Hines pipes on my bike. One of my most popular videos is twin/rounds, lawabidingbiker.com/twin/rounds. And I do the pipes and I love them. I'm just going to tell you, we haven't tested it. I actually asked them and I was in contact with one of the main guys. And he was like, well, we'll give you one at a discount. I go, but we want to test it because people are sending me emails about it.
Right.
And Vance and Hines guys, they won't even send us a Fuel Pack 3 to test for you guys. So, and I'm not just talking bad about them because of that, because I have Vance and Hines pipes.
They make great exhaust.
They do.
They make what they make is good stuff. Looks like they were trying to forge a new field away from what they do, and it's okay, but it doesn't compete with a Power Commander 5.
No, for the price, guys, I think you're just better off. And we hopefully are going to test. I'm hoping I can buy a Power Vision for Oscar.
That would be so sweet.
I got to talk to him after the podcast because at least. And DynoJet won't send us that either, but they will. DynoJet said they will give it to us at cost at least.
That's pretty good.
Because I really want to try that Power Vision, and
that looks cool.
So yeah, the Fuel Pack 3, all it does is it's got basic maps in it for your setup for your pipes and your intake, and it just flashes real quick.
Their hook is the Bluetooth connection and being able to see engine diagnostics and stuff in real
Bluetooth
time.
with your phone,
right? But I don't think they had. Did they have was that the FP3 that didn't have a Apple?
I don't think DynoJet does either.
One of them didn't, and one of them did. The cool thing about the FP3 is you can put it on your handlebars and you can see engine temp and RPMs and stuff.
It's got a little screen.
Yeah, and that's neat. But as far as mapping, it's not. It's just not there yet.
Right.
It doesn't compete with. It doesn't even compete with the Harley Super Tuner.
Right. Exactly.
Because you can't get into the FP3 and map individual cylinders in individual RPM cells.
Right.
You can do that with a Super Tuner, and you can do it with the Power Commander 5. You can do it with the, what's the big one? The Thunder Max.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There's a bunch of them you can do it with. The Power Commander 5 is the best value for the money, but the FP3 doesn't do it.
Yep. The FP3 is a lot of, it's cool, but it's a lot of gimmick, and it's just got a cool screen. But the Power Vision, has a screen and
Same
it
thing. Yep.
flashes and right.
Yep, it flashes and it gives you all the same stuff, and you can plug it into your computer and actually play with the maps. And
But do you think the Power Vision, before we're going to do not a whole episode, but we'll really get in, do you think it's better than the Power Commander 5 or not?
I do. Based
Okay.
on what I read about it, I think it's a little bit more advanced.
Perfect. So hopefully we can purchase one of those guys at cost and get that information out to you. But yeah, I just think at this point, I would, we really wanted to test that for you guys, but I don't think it's really necessary. Spend the money for what it costs. Go buy a Power Commander 5 and an auto tuner, and you're going to be in the hook for,
more, but
a little bit more, but
I've got them and I think it's worth it.
way better.
Yeah.
Way better. So yeah, I would send that thing back if that FP3 ain't doing it. But thanks for the information, because that helps us get it out to the community. And if Vance and Hines ever wants to send us one, we will test it. We'll give it a fair review, but I'm not going to buy it at their full price just to test it for them and put it out to a bunch of listeners. All right, so where are we at here? We're doing pretty good. We got time for a couple more. We're just right at an hour, Oscar, on the actual recording. Live, we're longer, of course. But all right, so here we go. This is a question for you. Let me see if we have time to get into this. You think? Yeah?
Yeah, why not? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we probably should.
Okay, go for it. This is from Mark David Simets of North Lawrence, Ohio. And he emails us.
Mark says, great video on the general service of the HD Street Glide. I do not consider myself handy with the wrenches at all, but with your help in video, I have the confidence to change the fluids on my own. Thank you. Can you provide any info on safety checks, such as grease fittings or belts that may need attention? I'm sorry if this info has been covered previously. Thank you again for your time and service to your town and state. P.S. While out on your club rides, can you tweet out some pictures so us Easterners can have a peek into the Northwest? Thanks again and ride safe. That's actually a pretty cool idea. We hit some of the spring rides, especially when we go over the mountains. Safety checks, you covered those really in-depthly in the video. There is one grease fitting. Now tell me if your 14 is different than my 13, because there's one grease fitting, and it's the head bearings.
I've never done the head. I know they talk about it. Honestly, it's not something that I do unless I think something's wrong with the head bearings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
And
you can do that. What do they call it? The turn test?
Yeah, right. The fall away test.
The fall away test.
Right. You want to explain what that is just briefly?
Oh, wow. Yeah. In order to zero your steering, the whole thing, there's bearings that are attach your handlebar to the forks, and that's basically how your bike steers. They jack the bike up so the front end's off the ground and the tire's not touching any pavement or anything. What do they start right? And they'll let the handlebars go, and it'll go right, left, left, and eventually zero left.
Right. At a certain way, though, it's supposed to fall away. Right. So is that what you said? You have them straight, and at a certain point, they're supposed to just fall and turn all the way.
Well, is
that correct?
I read the manual on mine a while back because I was going to do it. I'd have to break the manual out again because I didn't do it on my own. But there is a grease on my 13 we'll have to look at your 14, but on my 13 on the left side, on the steering neck, right below the bearing, or it'd be right below the bearings, I guess. There is a grease zert, and my Harley manual actually calls for some grease. I think every 5,000, every oil change, and I actually did it once. I've got 16,000 on my 13, and I don't know, the 10,000 mile oil change, I stuck the grease gun up there. I don't know.
Okay.
Pump 3 or 4 shots of grease in
there.
there.
It's the same on the 14. I'm
sure
almost positive.
Yeah.
It's just my bike's still pretty new. So it's like, is it something you need to do every time? No.
The manual says every $5,000. I don't know why. I mean, it's good if it's a sealed, if you're pumping grease, it's not sealed bearing, but.
And it's got a tit up there.
It does.
Right. I've seen it. Yeah. It's just got that is the only grease fitting that I think about. But go ahead, finish that.
That's the only grease fitting. And that's not so much a safety concern as it is to make sure the head bearings are lubricated so they turn. So if your steering feels real sluggish, I guess maybe you'd pump some grease in there.
Right.
I'm not sure. The manual isn't real clear about, and I'm talking about the actual Harley.
Just pump some grease right in that tit up there, that
grease
nipple.
Grease the tit.
Right.
It'll be fine.
That's so that is the only grease
That's
one
the only,
that I know
that's the
about.
only, yeah, that's the only grease fitting.
And I would, you could certainly pump some grease up there if you want.
Pump
if
her
you're
up.
into pumping grease. And we're going to talk, Oscar. We didn't explain the fall away test very well because it's something I have to
No.
look up every time if I ever do it. It's hardly ever necessary.
Right.
If you do want to pump some grease up there each time, it's not going to hurt anything. Just pump it up there. Enjoy pumping it and
But don't over pump
don't over
because
pump.
you don't want to fill the cavity.
Well, the grease it'll come back at you.
it won't. It can't. There's no. It's not
Oh
like.
yeah, you're right. It's not like
a ball joint.
Yeah, you're
It
right.
won't, there's nowhere for it to go.
So you actually could over pump it.
you
Right?
You could over pump
All
it.
jokes
and fill
aside.
it too full. Yeah, I wouldn't like when I did mine. I think I pumped it 3 times.
Okay,
And the manual doesn't really say.
that's what I'm saying. You could actually overpack it, right?
We're getting
I
way
mean,
off
I know.
track. Yeah, you could.
All jokes aside, you could overpack the bearings.
As far as I can tell, yeah.
Right.
There's nowhere for it to come out that you can see.
Yeah.
So
And they say every 5,000 the manual.
yeah, because I was looking at that, and I'm like, when would I do that? And I'm pretty sure the manual there's an X every $5,000 every oil change,
Okay.
but it doesn't say how much. It says
Right.
grease the fitting.
And there's no way to tell. So, what kind of grease, Oscar?
Harley part number 537.
Does it have to be Harley or
No,
do you-
I I've got some. I've had the same. Grease lasts forever, so I've got some like Mobile One, semi-synthetic, whatever,
and a grease gun.
in a grease gun.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I mean, the type of grease can matter, but if you use like a ball joint grease or typical automotive grease, it's going to be pretty close.
All right, Roger that. And I just want to give a shout out to Mike Petrie. He's in the chat room live here. And that's awesome, Mike. Howdy, buddy. And thank you for becoming a patron. I don't know if you were listening live at the very beginning of the show, but we gave you a shout out as the newest patron. If you guys want to get involved with and become a patron, head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon. All right, I think we have time, Oscar. Let's take a look at this email and see if we got time for this. Oh, this is the big brake recall. Let's look at this one. Here, why don't we tie up with this because we've talked about
Are you
this
talking
before.
Yeah, with Doug from Cape Coral, Florida.
Mhm.
We should because
It's a question we get asked a lot, and we
but there's something yeah.
go ahead.
I'm going to read it.
You don't want to read it?
No, I'm going to read it.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I was a little confused. Doug from Cape Coral, Florida says, I'm a little confused from the video for the oil change, primary, and transmission. In the video, you say use 6 quarts 2050 oil for all 3. But wouldn't you use transmission fluid for the transmission? No, I have to stop there. Do not use transmission fluid in any motorcycle. Not transmission fluid. It's not ATF.
Right.
And so
car transmission fluid.
Right. So Doug, I'm not sure if you meant to say literally transmission fluid or if you meant to say something else, but
Or the oil. I think what he might have meant was, should I use oil recommended? Because let me break it down a little bit. In the past, guys, on Harleys before the invent or the common use of synthetic oils, and there still is, if you don't want to use synthetic oils, there is a separate oil for your transmission, and there's a separate oil for your primary, and there's a separate oil for your engine, right?
there used to be, yeah.
Until synthetic. So I still think you can get it if you want. It wouldn't make sense. We would just use synthetic, but I think that's what he might have meant. Should I get the different oil? For my, maybe not, but don't use transmission oil is what you're getting at.
Yeah, right. And
car, what we're thinking of.
And I spent a little extra money and I actually tested because what they're recommending in the transmissions for Harleys, if you don't want to use the 2050, is a gear oil, either a 7590 or a 11090. And I'm talking about the weight of the oil. So a 75 weight 90 or a 110 weight 90. Crikeys. What is it? It's a 70. It's a 8110. Oh, for crying out! I can't remember now.
That's fine.
I used the heavier one to test it. That's the AMSOIL gear oil stuff's a little bit more expensive, and so I actually tried it, and I'm not going to do it again. I'll go back to the 2050. And I did it in my 06.
It was a little bit separate oil, is what you're saying. And I remember you testing this, and you're like, it didn't make a difference. So I'm just going back all to 2050 synthetic in all 3 holes.
That 2050 really, my transmission shifted better with the 2050. So as soon as my next transmission service is up, I'm going away from the gear oil back to the 2050. So Just use the 2050 in all 3 holes. If you're using the synthetic AMSOIL or mobile, whatever, I've tested it twice, and I'm just gonna stick with the 2050.
All right, there you go. And thanks for that email, Doug of Cape Coral, Florida. Really appreciate you being involved with the law-abiding biker community. And if you guys want to leave an email, of course, it's just lawabidingbiker.com/email. All right, I think we're getting really close to being done here, guys. But let's go ahead and thank a couple people for donations, and then one more email, and we'll wrap it up. Here we go. Go ahead with this donations, buddy.
Kenneth Coe of Bellevue, New Jersey, and John Philbrook of Woodway, Texas. Thanks, guys, for the donations. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. And if you want to help us out and just give a blanket donation, we really appreciate it too. lawabidingbiker.com/donate helps us put a little fuel in the lab gas tank so we can keep moving on down the road. All right. With that said, let's just do this last email and we'll take it out, guys. This is from Paul Barcombe of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It's so awesome seeing all these different places, isn't it?
Oh, it's great.
And we got the chat room going on, and this is awesome. This is what's so cool about being live,
right?
And just to hear the listeners from all over. We're in the chat room, guys. And if you're listening to this podcast, on demand, and you're not listening to it live, if you do ever want to listen live, head over to lawabidingbiker.com/live. There's a chat room there. There's a schedule of when we go live. You can listen live from all over the world. And he says, "Good morning from Germany, lab dudes!" !
Wow.
He says, "Was sitting on the throne of my early morning think." And saw
the boy.
Love it, Gregory. That's awesome. And saw the email that you guys are live, had to drop in. That is so freaking cool.
What's that guy's name?
Gregory Jones from Germany, dude. And
that's awesome. Greg.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So before we went live here for the first time, you didn't know, but I sent out everybody that's on our email list.
Yeah.
I sent out a email saying, hey, we're going to go live for the first time and why we're doing it.
Oh,
and why we think it's beneficial and the time and everything.
Right.
Eventually, guys, I'm going to have a separate email list for everybody because I know not everybody may want to know when we're going live, but eventually I'm going to have on the live page.
Right.
I'm going to have an email sign up list. So just the people that sign up for that email list will get, 2 hours before we go live. Every time I'll put out a quick email in case they didn't see it. You have time to check the website.
Right.
But that's forthcoming, guys. But awesome from Germany. And different time.
On the throne.
On the throne, dude.
Attaboy.
I listen to podcasts on the throne too. Nothing wrong with that. All right. And let's talk here real quick. So see, this is the kind of stuff that's going on here on the chat room, guys, live is really cool. Is they're talking about oils and stuff, and Richard Kane is getting involved, and he's talking about, for Harleys, the primary and transmission now use the fluid if using Dinosaur HD products. And yeah, that's why we use AMSOIL and stuff. But Richard Kane says same fluid. So yeah, this is awesome because the community's talking to each other.
Yeah, that's
working
cool.
out problems.
Right.
That's something, we could talk on. I want to get a forum going on this website eventually too, but whatever. This is good for now. I think that is probably pretty much it, huh, Oscar? We're at an hour 15, so
that's pretty good.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take it out. We got to most of the emails except one, didn't we? Yeah, I think but we'll get that on the next one, guys. And we're going to keep coming at you. And don't forget, guys, if you look at the live page, or if you're listening to the podcast, because this will be out the next couple of days, we will be recording live here in a couple of days. Check in if you want to listen in on our SOA podcasts and when we record those live too, because we've only got 3 episodes left with the Sons of Anarchy season, guys. That's right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And that was our Virgin Live podcast, the first one we did. And of course, have no fear. The regular podcast will still be there sitting in iTunes. This is just the raw. All you live listeners right now is the raw behind the scenes, and you get everything.
And I want to thank our live listeners for de-virginizing me.
Yeah.
It was nice.
You did. That's very nice of them. Very nice of them. But yeah, we're going to keep doing it live, guys. And of course, like I say, everything will still be there for you. So have no fear. The podcast, we're just still keep cranking them out and all that kind of stuff on Stitcher Radio for you Android people and for Apple, the podcast app that comes stock now on your iPhone. All right, guys, call to action. Don't forget to get our app, guys, if you want. lawabidingbiker.com/app for iOS or Android. You get content first, the on-demand content and show notes, and you can call right from there and all that kind of stuff, guys. The Lab Podcast hotline, 509-731-3548. Or you can leave an internet voicemail anywhere in the world right from your computer because you all have a freaking microphone. No cost. lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail. We love it. We love the phone calls. We love the voicemails. Don't forget to get in the Law Abiding Biker email club, guys. It's free. lawabidingbiker.com/email club. And that's how a lot of you heard that we were going live for our very first time. Or general contact, lawabidingbiker.com/contact, guys. Want to help us? Doesn't cost a dime. Rate us in iTunes, lawabidingbiker.com/iTunes or /Stitcher Radio, whichever one you're using. All right, guys, thanks for making the first live one a success. We're going to keep coming at you. You guys are the best. Thanks for being involved in this community, in this chat room. And if you haven't listened live, you really, really need to. I think it's going to be a really awesome thing that we've added. So peace out. Keep the rubber side down.
Shiny side up.
Thanks for being here, Oscar.
I love you guys.
Oscar didn't puke on the couch.
It's a good thing.
Because he came and he's sick, but we wanted to get it out to you guys. That's the kind of guy he is. Peace out.